If I didn't get the right people around me and to push me to be like a true business owner, to really build something and let it kind of do its thing, again, I would just revert back to just manual labor. And then 2 or 3 years of doing that, you'd be just as miserable as you would be in the job. I tell people a lot that it's not hard. I don't think it's hard. I don't think you have to be super smart to do this, because we're not. But I think it is definitely not easy. Whatever it is you're trying to do in the business, while you're trying to generate leads, that consistency is huge. Our mentor used to tell us you need 5 to 7 forms of marketing going out all the time. Well, I can't speak for the nation because our investing is tied down into the northeast area of Tennessee. So here the big changes are.
What's going on, guys? Jason, thank you so much for coming on and hopping on here with us today. I know you've been in the space for a good while, but I am curious to kind of see how you got into real estate in the first place.
So me and my wife both, Kelly, were in corporate. Of course, we were miserable like most people. Just a lot of things were changing inside that space. So we're looking, I think we'd gotten like 20 years into that, and we were kind of at that point, like, do you want to keep doing this and just retire, or is there something else out there? So we started researching and looking, and passive money, of course, started coming up because all we'd ever done was work for money. So we started reading, every book we could find on the subject. And of course, like most, we come across Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And that really opened things up to explore more. And then we just started digging in. We started getting the nerve up and trying to buy a couple properties, and it didn't work so well. So we ended up getting some education. And then once we got that and got a good mentor at our back, we just took off after that. It took a little while to get going, but then we gained some traction.
Awesome. And then what does the business look like today?
Today, we're still doing basically what we done in the beginning. We've just slowed down a little bit. We were really gung-ho in the beginning, trying to get out of corporate and build that passive money. So we're just completely wide open. But today we're still picking up really what we call really good rentals for us within an hour's drive of our house, because we self-manage our own rentals. So we like those to be something we can get to very easily. We like at least $750 a month cash flow on each one of those. So we're still cherry picking those in good neighborhoods. We will flip. The market's still real good here in East Tennessee, so we still will flip 1 to 3 properties a year. Really, we focus on really good properties, and good for us is trying to make at least $100,000 each flip. So we focus on those. We do a little bit of hard money lending to help other investors in our area. And we've gotten more into buying and selling on terms lately. I guess that's our new shift. We're getting a little tired of doing the renovations and all that stuff, but we're starting to buy cheaper stuff and then just turn around and sell it on terms and not touch the property. We don't even clean them out anymore. We just sell them just as is.
Gotcha. So what was the main problem that you were trying to solve when starting this business? Obviously, leaving corporate America was a big thing. What was the main deep root of the problem that you were trying to solve?
The problem for us was time. We were raising 2 kids young kids at that time, and my wife, all she had ever wanted to do was to be a stay-at-home mom. And that was really getting into her head because she was having to miss a lot of kids' activities because she just couldn't get away from work. And then the same with me. I was able to be there with them in the evenings, but I had to work a lot of weekends. So we were trying to solve that whole time thing, because that was what was just eating us up inside, is not being able to do the things that we truly wanted to do when we wanted to do them. And then that's how real estate really opened up, especially the buy and hold stuff.
It seems like you guys are have a very simple business, which is great. I feel like a lot of people come into this business for time freedom, and then they, try and do 200 deals a year, or, basically eliminate why they came into the space. How important was that time for you once you came into the space to really build a business based around that?
It was huge. And when it took me forever, felt like forever. We let Kelly, she got out of her job. We got her out first because we seen how much time this was going to take to do this. So we got her out first. And then, of course, I was working my day job and then renovating houses a lot in the evening. But that was really wearing down on me. But when I finally got to the point where I was ready to turn my notice in and leave, we sat down and we talked, and I told her I was scared to death. Once I quit my job, I would just revert back to what I'd always knew, and that was just manual labor, getting out there, swinging the hammer, laying the floor, painting, all that stuff. So what we did, I found a good mastermind group. I looked all around the country and just trying to find people that fit what we were doing. And I got plugged into that because I knew if I didn't get the right people around me and to push me to be like a true business owner, to really build something and let it kind of do its thing, again, I would just revert back to just manual labor. And then within, 2 or 3 years of doing that, you'd be just as miserable as you would be at a job, I felt like.
Want to get motivated sellers that nobody knows about? Introducing 10x TV. If you want to create credibility in your market, find deals that nobody else knows about, and crush your competition, you need to check into TV commercials. It is the new buzz in the real estate investing industry since we introduced it several years ago. I've been using TV commercials myself for the last 12 years and it's absolutely crushed it. So if you want to learn how to get on TV and to do something that little to no people are doing right now, go to claimmymarket.com. Again, that's claimmymarket.com. We usually only work with 2 investors per market, so if you're interested, reach out to us and book a call to see if you can claim your market before anybody else does. Now back to the show.
What do you think's the most common misconception for people trying to get into real estate as someone who's already in real estate?
I think a lot of people get sold that it's easy, maybe. And I tell people a lot that it's not hard. I don't think it's hard. I don't think you have to be super smart to do this because we're not. But I think it is definitely not easy. I mean, you've got to sit down. You've kind of got to plan this out. Make sure you know your next steps. Have a good frameworks in mind to get you through to each stage. And what we done, we broke it down. Our stages were going from no deals to doing the first deal. That was just a big stage for a lot of people. And then once we done that, we're like, well, we knew we wanted to get like $10,000 a month. Like that was our freedom number that would let us do about anything we wanted to do. But once, we seen how hard that was to do, we was like, all right, let's just do 2,000. I know we can do $2,000 a month. So we started buying and flipping, wholesaling as fast as we could, got to 2. And we just, that gave us a huge amount of confidence. And we're like, all right, let's go to 6. And we got to 6 within another year. And then the next year we were able to cross 10. So that's kind of it for us.
Jason, one question about strategies this year. When you look at last year, it was a very interesting year. What are some strategies that you are taking from your experiences last year into this year?
I'm still big into the lending. As we get more and more into this, you kind of want to do less and less and less, it seems like. So we're still big into lending, trying to grow that side of the business. And then this whole selling on terms, this is really exciting for us because it's just opened up so much more time on renovations, and it opens up a lot more time in terms of managing tenants, because you're basically just setting it up to be a bank. You're creating a note. And then we do those 2 ways. One, we owner finance if we own them free and clear. If we're using a private money lender to purchase these properties, we'll sell like on a contract for deed. We do that. So there's 2 ways we run that. But that's kind of our main focus. We're still doing all the other stuff we've done before, but that one is a little bit more higher up on the radar.
Awesome. Well, what are the most common mistakes that you see investors make that you think could be really easily avoidable?
So one would be not being consistent with marketing. I think our little model that we teach on is pretty simple. It's how to generate leads. And then once we get leads, it's like, how do you convert them? And once we get those 2, of course, we're making money back and forth, trying to build that cash flow. But then you run into that third problem, and that is the way you set your business up. Is it consuming a tremendous amount of time out of your life? So the third problem is like, how do you set this up with systems? How do you set this up with leveraging team members and good hires? how do you design and vision a life where life should be fun. Like our vision, we're real big on vision. Like we created a vision of like what would life look like if we didn't have to worry about money, we didn't have to worry about all that stuff. If we just wanted to live life, what would we be doing? And once we got that crystal clear, we're like, all right, now let's build the business that helps us get that. So that was kind of our mindset in the beginning, and it's been that way ever since.
I love it. What do you think separates the top operators in this space from everyone else in your experience?
Top guys, the top people that I have met in mastermind groups, those guys seem to have a common trait of mindset. I'll say they have a very, what would you call it? The word certitude comes to mind. Like they're so certain, they know what they want, they know that they're going to get it, they know that it's not going to be easy, it's going to be challenging, but they feel like deep down in their heart this is going to happen. I think that's huge. And then that consistency with whatever it is you're trying to do in the business, while you're trying to generate leads, that consistency is huge. Our mentor used to tell us you need 5 to 7 forms of marketing going out all the time. And I really believe that's true because certain ones work better at certain times of the year. I don't know why, but we try to keep 3 or 4, but the more the better, especially if you've got it dialed in. The confidence to close those deals, that's so huge. Being able to negotiate deals and set them up deal structure wise, creatively, stepping outside the box instead of just going to the bank and getting money, setting up owner finance, huge for us.
Awesome. A lot of people define the word success differently. They measure it differently and they strive for it differently. How do you define the word success? How do you measure success? And how do you strive for it every day?
That's a good question. What was that guy's? I used to listen to a guy on YouTube. It was back in the 40s and 50s. I can't think of what his name is right now. But he would always say success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. And that's always stuck with me. It's just you figure out what you want. It takes a good vision to get that crystal clear. And then that progressive making it step by step, breaking it down into easy chunks where you can get from A to B to C to D. And then each time you get to that level, that confidence sets in, it gets fun, it gets exciting. So that would be success to me, because once you hit goals, you look back and you're like, if it was flipping, let's say $150,000 of profit a year, well, once you hit that, that's really not exciting to you, but it was that journey you were on that got you there. That's what's really stands out to us.
Yeah. You know, Last year was interesting for a lot of people. A lot of people struggled in this business last year. A lot of people strived. What do you think is the biggest changes that we're seeing in real estate right now?
Well, I can't speak for the nation because our investing is tied down into the northeast area of Tennessee. So here, the big changes are we went through, of course, COVID, and this area is a prime spot where a lot of people are moving in. So we're seeing people come from as far as California down to Florida, New York. All these people are moving into our little area because it's beautiful. I mean, it's cheap. It's a fun place to live. There's a lot of recreation, a lot of outdoor activities. But when that started, like the flipping was really easy. Like all you had to do, a lot of investors, they would buy at market value, put just a little work in them, and then sell them. But we always tried to buy way below market value and still do today. But that is getting harder and harder to get like really, really good deals. So it has changed here. Um, the marketing is got that's where that consistent marketing is huge, because if it's not going out, you're not going to find that 1 or 2 3 good leads a year that can really change your business. And we're still doing it, but we've definitely noticed that it is tougher now.
Yeah. Well, if you were to start from scratch, let's say the business goes away. You get to keep all the knowledge that you've learned over the years, but the business completely goes away. What would you focus on first to rebuild?
I would. This is kind of what we teach. I don't know if I'll hit exactly what you're asking, but I would start here. I would learn how to raise private money. Uh, that has been such a big win for us to be able to stay out of the banks, purchase properties as quick as possible without having to jump through all those hoops. I love banks, but not to just purchase properties all the time. I would learn to raise those funds, and then I would kind of skip the whole marketing side of things, and I would just focus on building fantastic relationships with wholesalers. And that way I could start instantly buying properties as fast as possible, get that cash flow up and going. And then I would probably zero back in on a special form of niche marketing to increase my cash flow even more.
Awesome. What drives you personally to keep innovating, to keep striving, and to keep helping other investors succeed?
Well, in terms of helping people, like I've got it. Me and my wife Kelly both got it in our heart that we're wanting to find those other Jason and Kellys who've done a few deals. They've probably got a couple $1,000 cash flow, but they've just stalled. They've hit a roadblock. So it's our like heartfelt thing is like, let's find those guys because I just want to help those guys, show them how we got out of corporate. If they're miserable, especially if they're ready to get out of that mess, uh, being able to help people do that, that's as good as doing real estate deals for us because you get to help, and that's what it's about, helping people.
I love it. I love it. Who's been the biggest influence to you in this space?
Oh man, I've got a bunch of inner circle people. It started with our first mentor that we hired. She was so pivotal, and because when you're starting out, you're so scared. You're so timid, you don't know what to do, and then if you've got somebody there to help talk you through some of that stuff and just get you moving, some kind of step moving forward, that has been huge. So our mentors, and she ended up passing away, actually. I miss her dearly. Her name was Vicky. But we actually hired another mentor after that got us really dialed into probate marketing. Um, he's been a huge influence, him and his partner both. And then, of course, we've got local people like, people that I'm involved with church, attorneys, um, close dear friends I've met in this space by networking, people that you call on when it's just not about real estate, but other parts in life have gotten in the way that's slowing your real estate down. Like you need those people in your life to talk through because they've been through something similar, so they can help you. So I've got a handfuls of people that I give credit to.
When it comes to joining a mastermind, I know you've talked about masterminds quite a bit. How important is it for people to join a group, no matter what the group is, who the group is? I know there's a ton of them out there, but how important is it for you to stress that people should be joining a community?
Well, I know that it worked for us. What I liked about good groups was the accountability, of course, being able to set goals and being having other people hold you to doing that. That in itself is worth nearly all of it. But at the same time, you get to see people who um, you get to share wins with them when they're doing good, and they explain and show you things that's working for them in their market, things that they're trying and they're getting success with. That's just so uplifting. It gives you a lot of motivation to go out and do your thing. Um, and then you also get to see um, the I'm going to say the negative side of real estate investing. And what I mean is, like, I got into these groups, and a lot of these guys sounded what I would say super successful at first glance. They've got hundreds of properties, and you're like, wow, how do these guys do this? But the more you listen to their story, the more you see there's a lot of holes in their story. And what I mean is, life is just it is just totally out of whack. And I know that sounds horrible to say, but I learned from that in the fact that that's not what I want to be like. I don't want to build a business that I'm a slave to, that all I'll think about is making money. I think money's important, but I think there should be a lot of purpose in what you do. We're Christian people, so we're always got that at the pushing us to get out and to help and to share. And then with money and purpose, you've also got that freedom element, to do what you want, when you want, how you want, with whom you want. And by learning from people in your group, whether they're doing good or bad, that those good mastermind groups, and they've got to be a good mixture of people that have done a lot versus people that are just starting, because you need to see the whole spectrum, not just what you think is the good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Well, first off, everyone, thanks for watching. Jason, thank you so much for coming on, and we'll see you next time.
Good deal. Had a great time.